Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about education reform. But before I get into that, I've got a little story I want to share with y'all. I'm doing work right now for one single individual person, helping him fix up a house to sell. He also has this old guy that does some work for him too. And I've seen the old guy before at other places when I was working for him, and not really friendly with the old guy. Never really talked to him too much. Maybe once or twice in passing. I don't even think I know his name. But at this job here, I've been at the same house for about 2 months now or something like that. And a couple of days ago, this old guy shows up to do work there as well. And we acknowledge each other when he shows up, and he starts unrolling an extension cord, and he pulls out a boom box and starts setting it out and plugging it in and all that. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, yeah, okay, this is going to be great. I'm going to be listening to Lawrence Welk or some shit all day. You know what I mean? So, but I'm working on the inside of the house, and this guy's working outside the house. So when I'm messing around for a while and I come out and he's already got the boombox playing, and he's got like my kind of music from the 80s coming out of that damn thing, like Tears for Fears and Bon Jovi and shit. This kind of shit's coming out of this radio. So I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, damn, at least the old dude's got good taste in music. You know what I mean? And so I'm, going back and forth. I have to come out of the house quite often to get material or cut a board or, to get a tool or whatever out of my van. I'm enjoying the music when I come out. And eventually one time I come out and I see him, and he's on his phone, messing around on his phone. And I'm sitting there doing something, and he says to me that somebody's like spamming him or scamming him or something like that. The text or the call he got was some kind of scam call or whatever. And I said to him, yeah, I believe it. I get that stuff too. You'd be surprised how many people fall for that shit. That shit is actually successful. It's just surprising to me that anyone would fall for that shit. And he looked me right in the eye and said, yeah, it's those old people. And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at this old guy, and I can smell the smoke from the gears in my head starting to engage and knock the rust off, and my brain is actually starting to work. And I realized that this old dude is my age. Yeah, true story. I honestly thought that he was 15, 20 years older than me. And even when I heard the music, it didn't, my brain did not engage full function. It took that statement for me to realize that he is my age. And thinking about it, I mean, society, yeah, I turn a blind eye when society wants to chop off little boys' nuts and, destroy masculinity, kill thousands and thousands of people in these useless foreign wars, have guys beat up girls in the Olympics and stuff like that. I can turn a blind eye to all that shit. But when society has old people walking around the same age as me, I'm not okay with that. I'm gonna have to call bullshit on that. I don't think I'm going to participate in society anymore. That's the final straw. I'm going to disengage and completely step outside of society, because they just, no, I'm not doing it. Yeah, that was an eye-opener. But anyway, I just thought y'all might enjoy that story. So, on to our main subject, education reform. Now, I don't know how many of y'all realize this, but it was Jimmy Carter that created the Department of Education. right, in like 78 or whatever. And it took a couple of decades, at least one decade, for the Department of Education, the federal, the three-letter DOE, that those three-letter departments like the FBI, these unelected bureaucratic officials that destroy everything. For them, it took a couple of decades for them to really get their hooks into the education system and start to destroy it, right? So I didn't really see the effects of it until 2000, 2001, something like that. And then it took a long time because those kids had to grow up and start, participating in society. So, 2000 teens in there, 2020s now, we're really seeing the full effect of what's happening with these young people in their 20s now. And I know that to fix anything, we've got to go back to the roots, because that was exactly their plan, to destroy everything. They went to the root of it, right? You get the kids when they're young. If you get them when they're young, they're easy to indoctrinate. Kids just believe whatever they're told. If you tell them there are 53 genders, you get up on the chalkboard and you explain to them why there are 53 genders and all this shit, and that they know that. It's not even the truth. It's knowledge. They've been taught that. It's the way the world is, right? Truth and fiction don't even come into it. And I know this. It took me a long time to learn this, how much of an impact my childhood and the stuff I learned in my childhood had on me as an adult. And even me, I think of myself as being open-minded and seeing the world for what it is, but still, to this day, I'm still impacted by the things that happened to me as a kid. So that's why education is so important, because it takes a lot, and I mean a lot, to shake completely free of that. At least enough to open your eyes and look around and start asking questions, right? It takes a whole lot. So we need to get our Department of Education, we need to get the Department of Education out of our education system. It should be the Department of Stupidity or something. It is not educating these kids, not with real facts and knowledge. It's educating them on a bunch of bullshit philosophies and ideologies. So, and if we taught them the right way in, from the time they're kindergarten and all the way up, then by the time they got to college, they wouldn't be so wackadoo crazy, right? It would be a little more difficult for colleges to indoctrinate them into a bunch of bullshit. So we need to start with elementary, junior high, and high schools. And how would I do that? Well, the first thing I would do is to shut it down, just like immigration. I'd shut it down for a while. I don't know however long it would take, 3 months, maybe do it over a summer vacation, or maybe it would take an entire year. But I would shut it down. If we can send, 150, 200 billion or whatever it's been so far over to Zelensky, then we can not do that and take just half of that money, 60, 70 billion, and put it toward our education and getting our education system fixed. So I'd shut it down. I'd go through and I'd give all teachers, I'd go through their history and figure out which of these teachers were the worst ones about this whole idea of getting children gender affirmation care without their parents' consent, right? And anybody who tried to do that, any teacher who tried to do that, but behind the parents' back, I would prosecute them to the utmost extent of federal law, whatever it meant, whatever I could do within the boundaries of the law, right? I would round up a good dozen of them or whatever, of the worst ones, and the whole point of doing it would be to make examples of them. Because here's what we are missing, and even Trump misses this point quite a bit, is that we don't need to end stuff. Well, we need to end stuff and deter future events from happening. So I would make huge examples of some of these teachers so that in the future, other teachers wouldn't want to do this, right? They wouldn't want to try to go around behind parents' backs and have these kids gender changed or sex changed or whatever. You couldn't offer them enough money. That's how I'd want it to be. If someone offered one of these teachers $1 billion, they wouldn't take it. No, hell no. Look what happened to those 12. I'm not going through that. What's good's $1 billion if I can't spend it? And I mean, whatever it is, the fullest extent, the upper, very top tier of punishment is what I would go for. Life in prison, death penalty, whatever it is, whatever the law allows. And I would splash it over every social media, TikTok, all of them. The news, I would make sure that every single person in America knew what happened to these teachers. I mean, every single one. So that's the kind of thing I would start out with. Then I would get rid of all of the entire curriculum. I'd just scrap the entire thing. And I would start from the beginning. Maybe I'd get some 80-year-old teacher who taught in the 60s and 70s or something and bring her back and have her run the whole thing and put real, honest to goodness, X's and O's curriculum back into the school. Okay, teach them math and science and reading and writing and arithmetic and all the stuff that school is supposed to teach. And I would get that back in there, and I would install microphones and cameras in every classroom. I'd put servers in every school so that we could go back in any classroom, type up on the computer, and bring back, a certain day of recording and listen to the whole thing and watch the whole thing unfold like it was a movie. So any teacher that wanted to pull some bullshit, it would be right there. The evidence would be right there. All right. Then I would start enforcing discipline in these schools. No phones. If you did this, you get that. I'd get rid of all this participation trophy bullshit. I would grade kids the way they're supposed to be graded. But also, I would implement some kind of thing where, like, if a kid is good in math and he's failing English and shit, right? Just make sure that he can read and write a little bit, get him up to a certain, and then do away with that English class and let him explore more math. Wouldn't force him to keep studying English the whole time and getting D's and F's in English the whole time for 12 years. I don't understand that. The kid doesn't like English or whatever. If he loves science and he's not good in social studies, then he'll do away with social studies. He's never going to remember that shit. Doesn't give a damn. It's never going to be used in his life. So just give him the basic stuff and then let him explore more in the areas that they do enjoy. And that's how I do it. You wouldn't have to take an English class every single year for 12 years. You would get to pick once you got to a certain level. All right, he can write enough words to make himself understood, and he can read well enough to to be able to understand it and fill out a job application or whatever. So now he can just go, pick 4 math classes in one day if that's what he wants to do. That type of thing. I'd let them learn to their strengths. So now he's getting 4 A's instead of 1 A, 2 C's, a D, and an F. That's how you do this whole participation thing. Let them play to their strengths instead of their forcing them to play to their weaknesses. And then I would just get rid of the 12th grade. Well, not get rid of it, but you would be able to get your diploma and graduate after the 11th grade. The 12th grade would be optional. Doing so, the first thing I would do in the 12th grade, when you first get there, you would go through like an Army boot camp. You'd learn firearm training, safety, all this stuff, and all kinds of different firearms. You'd learn militia tactics and stuff, this kind of stuff. That kind of stuff would be like the first 3 months of the 12th grade or something, right? Go through some kind of boot camp like that. And then you could go off and study for something that would help you out in life. Maybe I would partner with local businesses and offer incentives to allow the kid to apprentice as a carpenter if he wanted to be a carpenter or a bricklayer or an electrician or something like that. So the kid could get some experience out in the real world before he or she left the nest, right? Or maybe they could take a lot of college prep stuff if they wanted to go to college and they wanted to get better prepared for college. Maybe have some college prep courses and classes in there. But real life stuff, what to expect, and maybe give them, college exams and this kind of stuff to help them, to give them an extra year to get into a good college, this kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely allow kids to graduate after the 11th grade, at the end of the 11th grade year, because a lot of times the 12th grade, you just need 2 credits or something, or a half a credit or something, and you just show up at third period and do, whatever, and then you leave and go to your job or whatever. A lot of times these kids, the 12th grade is a waste a lot of times. Now, there are some kids who are trying hard to graduate in the 12th grade. I understand that, but they could have been trying hard to graduate in the 11th grade. So it can easily be done. Just take the 12th grade off, and it wouldn't even be a thing. After a couple years, kids would just be used to it. That would be the way it is. And I think that if you used that 12th grade year and gave them real world knowledge and experience, that would help them through life a lot better, help them prepare for life a lot better than just another bullshit year of school. And this is the kind of thing that I would do. And I think that the communities around these schools would be more than willing to help, because we all know how just what total bullshit it is. How much better it would have been for us if we would have had that opportunity. If we could have graduated after the 11th grade and went off to college or got a job 1 year earlier. Or if we could have stayed and been better prepared before we went off and got a job or whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd definitely do that and get completely rid of all the ideological bullshit being impressed on these kids. And it would be straight up either book facts and, learning actual facts, or it would be learning how to do actual things. It would not be any ideological shit. The only thing even close to that would be patriotism and the love of freedom and truth. Now, these things I would impart on them, but those are just values that every human being has, whether they know it or not. Human beings love their freedom. They might disagree, but take their freedom, right? Take their freedom for just a week. They'll realize how much they love it. They're just so indoctrinated that they don't know how much they love their freedom. The same thing with their country. These people shouting and burning the American flag and all this stuff need to go live in a country in the Middle East for a year or two. And then they will realize how much they actually do love their country. And so these are just basic facts some people are confused about. Some people are indoctrinated to think a different way about them, but at the core, they still believe in them. I'm positive that even people burning the flag, love America. They just don't know how much they love it and why they should love it, because they're taught to hate it, right? It's the same thing as you can teach somebody that 2 + 2 = 7, but it's not true. They might believe it's true, but it's not true. And once you show them the facts of the matter, that 2 + 2 = 4, it'll blow their mind. Once you actually show them that America is a great country, it's inclusive and a wonderful place to be, once they actually see that for themselves by going to another country, then that would blow their mind. And that's where most people are. They just don't know. And that would be a good idea for like a social studies class, right? You could go around and show them how these other cultures in these other countries actually are. And not bullshit, not make up stories and all this stuff. Go over there and make a film and break that entire culture down for these kids and explain to them how they really are, what they really believe. Because it took me decades to figure that stuff out. What these other people actually believe in these other countries. Because I had no idea. No one had ever taught me. I had to figure that shit out for myself. And they want us to be on the world stage, America, the American country. They want us to be on the world stage, but they want us all ignorant about what's going on in the world. And I would end that, period. Maybe they'd have a class every single year about current events, and we'd find out what the hell. They would grow up knowing what's going on in the whole world. And maybe, just maybe, they would know right off the bat that we shouldn't be involved in this foreign war. It's none of our damn business. Maybe we shouldn't be allowing all this illegal immigration. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this or that. Teach them to question these things. And that would be the core value, the core principle that I would run through the entire curriculum, is teaching kids to question everything, including the stuff that is being taught to them in the school. Question this. Question what I'm teaching you right now. Don't take it at face value. Don't take it as law and truth. Go do some research on it. Look it up for yourself. Figure out for yourself if it's right or wrong, if it's true or false, right? So I would have the next generations of people coming up asking questions and searching for the truth. And they would be fully equipped to enter the workforce and to build things, to pick apples, to whatever it is that we need done. And they would know the value of work, the value of contributing to society. They would not believe inherently that they are too good for these jobs, that these jobs have honor. These jobs have value to society, to our country. And to contribute to society and to your country is an honorable thing. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you very much. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can hop over to Redbubble and check that stuff out over there. We got some pretty cool stuff, Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. but I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much to those of you who do that. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us in the emails over on the channel page. It's down in the description, so you gotta enlarge the description there, but it is down in there. And it's genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.